It's the Bryan Marco Show. It's the Bryan Marco Show.
Then the third song is Louisville Stomp that you wrote, Bryan. What can you tell us about that song?
Well, you know, it's funny because Marco and I were jamming in I think it was Louisville, but it might have been Charleston, West Virginia.
I thought it was Charleston.
Yeah, we have we did a very short tour leading into the recording of Boing We'll Do It Live, and it was our first time playing in the American Midwest, a place that we'd never been. This was not this last tour, the tour before, and we just did a week worth of dates to warm up for this live recording in Los Angeles. And in a sound check, we started playing this really fast swing, like ding 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 ding, and we just are you familiar with the cartoon Ren and Stimpy?
No. Ren and Stimpy. Yes, but not the music.
Yeah, it was a cartoon that was on in America, a really weird, dark, strange cartoon that was on in the 90s.
Yes.
And the theme music sounded a little bit like this thing that we were playing.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, we don't have anything that really sounds like that, and wouldn't it be fun to hear Guthrie play this like Brian Setzer on drugs kind of, really fast melody, because I never heard Guthrie do anything like that before, but of course Guthrie can do anything. Yeah. So I wrote this kind of fast, difficult melody and, kind of threw it at him, and he looked at me and was like, ooh. And then, of course, to make life even more difficult, he breaks out a Gretsch. He didn't even play it on the record on his traditional, on the Charvel that he's using now, the prototype. He broke it out on this big Gretsch, which is like 18 times as hard to play as a regular electric guitar. Anyway, it ended up being really cool.
Yeah. You know what, you may be right that this song was probably, we started jamming on that kind of thing in Louisville, but I think we picked it up again in Charleston to kind of
Yeah, is that what it was?
Yeah,
maybe. Those two gigs were, anyway.
Pablo meant to ask you, and this song gives us an excuse to do that. You moved to Nashville, and I see a lot of influences of the type of music that is going around in Nashville. I wonder if there's an effect on that, or it's just like you told it, just a casualty.
Coincidence.
I have had a little bit more access to what some people might call the Nashville fusion scene. And when I say that, I'm really kind of thinking of artists like Bill Frisell, who's not really a Nashville guy, but it has that American country kind of flavor, but it's still guitar-flavored instrumental fusion. It's very American, very kind of Ry Cooder-ish a little bit in his mellower songs. And so, a song like Flatlands from the first album, that kind of comes from that place in a way. Louisville Stomp, there's a subsection of American, like everybody's familiar with the term rockabilly, that old time with, Well, there's another subgenre of that which some people call hellabilly, and it's just this really aggressive modern rock version of that thing. And there's a band called the Reverend Horton Heat, which does they're a great representation of that. They have an upright bassist and a small swing kit drummer and a guitarist singer. But man, they have metal energy. It's like they're so aggressive that it's not just rockabilly anymore. So anyway, if anything, Louisville Stomp is coming from there.